Today's show is sponsored by Earth Friendly Products. For over 40 years, Earth Friendly Products brought you the greenest home products for all your family needs. Learn more at ecos.com. That's ecos.com. Now let's get to the show. Today's show is...
What's your thoughts on government cover-ups or covert societies attempting to control humanity? Do you believe in ancient astronauts, intergalactic communication, or extraterrestrial visitations? Ever had an experience with disembodied spirits or the paranormal universe? Are these subjects fact or fiction? Each week, Tony and Eddie explore these unbelievable realities and beyond. Exclusively on Truth Be Told.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Truth Be Told with Tony and Eddie. I'm your host, Tony Sweet.
And I'm Eddie Connor. Today, like most of the country, we're celebrating Halloween. And we have some spooktacular guests here to help us on this All Hallows Eve.
That's right. Tonight, our guest and guest co-host, Voxx The Psychic, is back to perform a live seance on air. What is a seance, you might ask?
Ooh, a seance is, on the most basic level, an attempt to communicate with the dead in the afterlife. The word seance comes from the French word for seat or session, and in the mid-19th century, the word came to be used in English to refer to a meeting of people who were trying to receive spiritualistic messages.
Eddie, what's at the core of doing a seance?
That's a great question, Tony. I think at the core of holding a seance are these two basic beliefs. First, I think there's a spiritual world that actually exists, or an afterlife. And I think, secondly, that it is possible to contact the spirits in this world through a medium. Now, seances are usually attended by people who literally wish to contact a loved one on the other side.
Well, we have Voxx The Psychic, who is a world-renowned expert in conducting seances. And just so you're aware of it, we don't know what to expect or who might show up from the other side to give us messages.
Ooh, you can learn more about Voxx at voxthepsychic.com. But guess what? Wait, there's more, because joining us, we have observers in the house, psychologist and UBN radio host of Both Sides Now, Dr. Shirley and Kellee, along with psychic medium Kellee White. So, ladies and gentlemen, Tony, without further ado, please put your hands together and welcome Voxx The Psychic to do our live seance, along with Dr. Shirley and Kellee and psychic medium Kellee White. Welcome, everybody, to Truth Be Told. I'm Eddie Connor.
And I'm Tony Sweet.
Oh, welcome, Tony.
Hi.
Sitting here taking notes for another segment, and Tony's like, "You go, just go pick up."
Like you lead it. You lead it.
So we have two guests in the house with us today, Dr. Shirley.
Hi, Eddie.
And
Kellee White.
there you go. And now, I always want to call you
Hi, Tony.
Dr. Kellee White.
You can call me Medium Kellee White and Psychotherapist Kellee White.
Psychotherapist,
doctor,
small,
that's
medium,
okay.
at large, Kellee White. With
That
big,
was
pretty
me.
Texas hair.
You can just call me
Call
Psycho.
me Roy, or you can call me Joy. Remember the comedian from the 80s? He was so funny.
Now, our guest that's going to be holding court today is Voxx The Psychic. And this is our first. I think most of us are seance virgins. We're SVs.
I
Go ahead,
definitely
Voxx.
am.
Pop
Okay.
my cherry.
Don't get me going, Tony.
Hey, yeah.
I got the cherry lipstick on.
We'll talk about
We'll
it
talk about it later.
off air, about what we talked about off air. But, yeah, about how size matters when you're a medium or
Yeah.
a small, medium at large.
Stop stealing my lines,
I
dude.
know, it's terrible, isn't it? So tell us what to expect and tell us what you want from us during this seance.
Well, I think it's really telling that Tony brought in some psychotherapists to sit in. And Shirley's going to be over there like watching sparks shoot in my eyes.
God.
And Kelly's going to be, Well, what can I say? I mean, what to expect? Expect the unexpected, first off. Things that you might want to do when you're out there listening. Sit in a nice comfy chair, lean back, no popcorn, no drinking. Stop that. Relax. Uncross your legs, uncross your arms, uncross your mind. Just sink into your chair, put yourself into a light hypnotic state, and just go with the flow. My thing is I don't allow any negative entities to come through. I am a practiced ceremonial magician, and I deal with a lot of angelic energy. So if you think you're possessed when we're done, you're just lying to yourself as usual. And you can just set up an appointment with Shirley or Kellee over here, because you're going to be lying to yourself. I don't do those kind of things, and I don't call up devils and demons, all that kind of stuff.
Thank you.
Yay.
Yeah, good to know.
So those are things to pay attention to. And if you're at home, which I guess you're at home, or you could be in your car. Let's don't do this in the car, shall we? It might be floating out of the roof or something, or coming out of the exhaust.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that now. So what you might want to do to raise some of the energy is take both hands, everybody, rub them together like a little praying mantis,
that feels
clench them, shake them, stomp your feet a little bit, roll your head a little bit, get totally relaxed. Now, rub your hands again together, clench them, pull them into a ball. Now, rub them together one more time and blow 3 warm airs, 3 warm breaths onto your palms of your hand, okay? You might hear us all breathing heavily now. You're going to have to rerun that. Now, slightly pull your hands apart, just slightly. And you should feel that spongy, etheric energy. Now, that's what we block out due to the mundane reality that we're always living. So once you have that spongy energy going, imagine putting it into a ball about the size of a dinner plate and place it over the top of your head. You might have seen those ancient depictions of Isis and Ra and all the great gods with that circle over their head. And in my psychic opinion is that's what this is. It's their magnetic psychic energy over the top of their head, blessing their body. So you should start feeling a little bit nice and comfy. Now I say you will open up your hands into a nice open half cup and close your eyes and think of nothing. Just create like a blue circle of like a gas flame that you see on one of those old gas stoves. And that's going to be your protective circle. Okay? Now, go ahead and take a couple of deep breaths, and you are in control at all times, and nothing negative will be happening to you. We're just going to basically have a little dialogue with some disembodied spirits. I'm not particularly going to say we're going to do angels today, because we can do angels anytime. But what I would say right now there's like 3 particular spirits I had in the back of my mind that I thought I would discuss. But I think it would be even more interesting if one of our other members here today might like to ask a question or speak to somebody in particular. So we're going to open up the table for that.
Dr. Shirley or Kellee?
Anyone.
Oh, anyone.
Yeah. Tony, Eddie. There's an older lady coming through for Eddie. That doesn't surprise me. He's like an old lady in this handsome man's body.
You mean an old black lady?
No, this one's white, which is
the lady is. I thought you were talking about me.
But there's an elderly woman that's coming through on Tony's, not Tony's side, but Eddie's side. So that's something that's interesting.
Might there be an elderly lady on my side?
I was feeling it more coming from Eddie's side. But if you have somebody that you'd like to question, that'd be great.
Yeah, I would. My mother.
Okay. Let's just go down into ourselves and try to see what's going on with her. And what was her birthday?
November 28th.
And what year?
Oh, I think 42.
Okay. I was getting 32. She's going to hit me. Now, what's interesting here, there's an initial G around her. And I'm not trying to get like the word grandmother or anything silly like that. But the G energy is really strong around her, and the number 3 and the other number 7. And around her, there is an older woman than herself that makes me feel her mother in some way is coming through as well. There are energies that are associated with grass, fields, and interestingly enough, a very old wooden wheelbarrow for whatever reason. I have no idea. Now, even if we contact somebody in particular, they may be showing me other people as well, or other times in their life. Now, who around her was from places like Kansas or the Midwest, to your knowledge?
That would be me.
You stop it, Tony. He's hijacking your mother over there.
No. Well, my family's from Argentina.
Okay, because that's definitely Tony then. You hush over there. Unbelievable. And it is interesting, too, if you are around certain people, that whoever has maybe whatever stronger or more intense energies coming through will pop through and kind of take over in some way. So now that we know that she's from Argentina, and we know her birthday, go ahead and maybe ask some questions, because this is really an unconventional way of doing a seance with electric lights on where nobody's holding hands, and we really couldn't hold hands even if you wanted to. So let's just generate the energy toward your left, like clockwise, and bring up the energy quotient. Now, were there any mountains around where she was from, and what is her first name?
My mother, Isabel.
Okay. What were the mountains that would have been around her, if any? Because otherwise I might have to just realize that I'm picking up something from someone else.
The mountains would be the Andes.
Okay. Because that's just like a huge range. Sometimes the deeper that I'll go, I'll start sounding kind of weird.
Okay.
Let's put it this way, weirder than usual.
Weird is okay.
Now, the energies are coming up more in a distant time, like earlier than maybe when she was born. It feels like a very rural area. Did anyone in the family literally have a farm or places where they grew food?
Yes.
Okay, that might be why I'm listing the old wheelbarrow. What are some questions or something that you'd like to know specifically? Because I'm seeing like a building that's made out of these rough-hewn stones. If you've ever seen that, I don't know. If you ever where they were at that time. So what would be maybe some questions that you might have that we can intensify the experience? Because as I said, no one's ever done this before. In a group setting with the lights on and all of that stuff, all the electronic equipment. So what are some things that you might like to know?
Not sure. Maybe how she is.
And if she watches over you.
Yeah.
Well, was she really just a little bit sarcastic or not? Because she have a kind of a funny sense of humor.
Yeah. Once in a while.
Because she would say, "Of course, I'm watching over you. Don't be ridiculous."
Yeah.
I was telling Kelly that spirits usually say about 5 things. Like, I love you, I miss you, leave me alone, the money's in the drawer, and I'll let you know when I need you. Or that really is 5 things, but she's just shaking her head, yes. Now, who was the woman that was slightly overweight with the short, silvery blonde hair and the glasses? Now, that could be homogenous description of almost anybody who's passed away, but in this particular instance, that is who I'm seeing. So do you know who that is? Is that fitting her description, or someone that was older than her?
Not that I know of.
Okay, because this is somebody that's coming up around when we ask your mother, how is she doing? And the answer, she almost just kind of looking me in the eye like, are you serious? Having a little bit of fun with me. Where she's at, where the vision's coming from, is a beautiful place. Blue sky, white clouds, very clear, very uncluttered. Seems to be away from the city. A very beautiful place. You should have been lucky to, come from people that are from that area. Now, who is V, the V energy?
Male or female?
Female. And I see where your mind is going, Eddie. I am going to slap you so hard.
Not sure.
You have no idea what this man's thinking.
It might be mixed into somebody that's crossing over for you. So, do you know anyone with V? Because I don't know anyone.
I don't know if
Not-
that off the.
Well,
that I
I'm
can think of.
Voxx, but seriously, really?
Not a female.
Self-referencing myself in a seance is kind of
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I don't know.
That's coming from her. the female, your mom, that energy. She seems to be, I wouldn't normally consider her to be an angry person, but she seems rather annoyed is like a nice word for it. Pissed off is better. Around the time of her passing, she does not feel in any way, shape at all ready to have gone. And there was something very shocking about it to her. Do you know what that is about?
I think she didn't know what was happening.
Because it just feels like some unresolved anger is really the only way to put it. I know that sometimes we like to think that a spirit is at peace, and technically I do believe that she's in a beautiful place where it is very positive, but just something around the time of her passing just seemed like she was very out of control, very upset, and the only other word for it is anger, but it's not toward anyone. She seemed to be blaming herself for something, because I do feel like before she passed, she did seem to have some kind of an event or a foreboding of something that was going to happen. Were you aware of that?
No.
Okay. Because this is something like she would have noticed some kind of symptom of something or some kind of information coming to her that she was not going to reach a certain age. And she does seem really annoyed. And again, there's really no other word for it, but kind of pissed off about it. And again, not at anyone, but she seems to be disappointed in herself for some reason.
That could be, definitely.
But I'm feeling she's a pretty pleasant person. She would have loved her freedom. Did she literally leave your father or not?
No.
Okay, because there's maybe just the leaving at that time.
No. She should have, but she didn't.
Yeah.
That's the freedom.
Yeah, that's she definitely wants her freedom. So I'm surprised that she stuck it out, actually.
Yeah.
Really surprised. I have no doubt in my mind, and she's shaking her head, yes, that you would have started your work very young by watching people and paying attention to people. And if you had not yourself suggested certain things that she do, I would have been very surprised. Because she does seem to say that there was a lot of wisdom in you, even very young, that she should have probably listened to things that you said.
Yeah, I know. I think I became an observer at a young age. I was very quiet.
Yeah,
So
well, you learned a lot from her, and even though she was a really great lady, but you learned a lot from her what not to do.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And she was not really in the mood to be the poster girl for things you shouldn't do, because she did not think her life was going to turn out that way.
Yeah.
And even though it wasn't a bad life, it sure wasn't anywhere near what she had envisioned for herself. There's a lot of talent with writing. Whether or not she did it is irrelevant. A very unique way of looking at the world and people. And a very interesting sense of humor. She and I might have had some fun jokes to share. But why does she talk about a sister? Who is the sister or female that was hanging around with you when you were younger?
My sister?
Because she says you have a sister.
Yeah.
But, just because a spirit says that you do doesn't necessarily mean, that it's true. But she was showing me that.
Yeah.
There's a great need of your sister to pay more attention to the things that you also have to say to her. People would just be better off if they would just call you. Instead of having to go around to a psychic that they don't even believe, and your mother's just looking at the sky going, oh my God, I hope we're not paying for this.
That's hilarious.
Which is pretty ridiculous. But definitely the sister seems to be going through something right now, and she would be hoping that you can offer your sister some assistance right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, your sister's going to go, how dare you talk about me on national radio? How dare you? So those are the main things coming through. But I do feel maybe the horse energy comes from the fact she was a Sagittarian. The idea of freedom, the idea of doing all the great things that she wanted to do, that she's glad that you now have those opportunities, even though she says you're not using them. Is that true?
Well, thank you, Mother.
Yeah. Spanking.
Even
There's
from the other side.
Yeah, that's my new book, Spanking from the Other Side. Spanking the inner child. Because now that you have all this great stuff going for you, she says you're free as a bird. Is that true?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. No, because you can see I'm not looking at your wedding rings because my eyes are closed. I'm such a feast to behold on a video screen. I've just got my eyes closed, stuck in this bizarre contortion with my hands looking like chicken feet over here because I can feel them. I can't actually move. But she's saying she really would hope that you will avail yourself of this freedom that you have, that you deliberately created very wisely after all of the observances of what she was doing. So she's really hoping that you'll start traveling more and bringing your information around and starting almost like some kind of an organization for younger women. I don't know what that's all about. But younger women really need to hear what you have to say about ideas of freedom and self-respect and self-esteem and these kinds of ideas. So if you can create some kind of format like that, that would really make her very happy.
Okay.
And she says, but don't forget, somebody has to pay for it. She does not want you being one of those poor mystics traveling around with like a staff and a rice bowl, or, you know. Most definitely. She does predict that there's a major partner coming up for you if you will stop hiding from it. And this is a person who has been married, who has most likely up to 2 teenage children, at least 1 daughter. Then this is a person that's trying to come into your life and has been very lonely without you, but you are just not in the mood to go down that path. And after what your mom's telling me, I can get it. But you need to, open up, because you really have some really great stuff in your future. And then for sure, she really doesn't have a whole lot to say to you other than the things that she told you over and over and again, which you also didn't listen to, which no one ever does. But she doesn't have a lot of brand new information, just wants you to stick it out and open up and enjoy your life, because, you got the best of her. Let's not get your sister all pissed off now, but your sister is a student of yours, whether or not she wants to get that or not. But you're here to teach a lot of people a lot of very important things. You should have, once you get out 2 books, the rest should flow really fast. So did you write the one yet?
Yes, and I'm just finished the second one this week.
Well, there you go. Surprise, surprise. And for the listeners, you should know that Shirley and I just met about 10, 15 minutes ago. I've never had the pleasure of reading her work or anything like that, but now I guess I'm going to have to. Talk about marketing from the other side. Right?
Exactly.
Mom's
she's doing a lot from the other side.
she's doing pretty darn good.
Wow.
Now, who is Cecilia or Cicely? Who is that? When that name comes up, pay a lot of attention to it, because it's around a lot of positive information. Now, I do know that Cecilia, as the Italians call Cecilia, those crazy Italians, is the patron saint of music. And that is something that you definitely want to surround yourself with more than you have.
Okay.
And maybe even, is this correct? Did the tango originate in Argentina?
Yes.
Oh, my God. I'm seeing you bust a move on the tango floor. I'm like, really? I just knew about the steaks.
Yeah, right. The meat.
I was always confused,
That is so funny.
That is crazy. But a lot of positivity. And she is in a very bucolic place, a very rural area, beautiful. And if we really do go to our favorite place when we die, and it is heaven, then you would go to your favorite place that you remember, or create something even better than the one that you remember. And that makes me feel that that's where she's at. And that's why I do feel good about it.
Great.
I'm not convinced about your dad, though. I don't know where he's going.
No one knows.
I have no earthly idea where your dad is. But your mom is very happy, very peaceful, very contented. And what are the garden areas around her that you might have known about? Anything with different flowers or gardens?
She loved flowers and gardening.
Yeah, now let's get real. Not every older woman likes to, fluff around in the rose garden.
Yeah.
But she sure looks to me like she did. And as I said, I keep seeing wheelbarrows, beautiful lush grasses, lovely flowers. So if this is heaven, your mom's achieved it. I would be glad to tell you that.
Wow. Well, thank you so much.
You know, and I don't like to go for the platitudes and the rigmarole and all the other stuff fluffy psychics say. I'll just call it as I see it, and I'm willing to be wrong. But at first, it didn't seem like your mom really wanted to talk to me, quite frankly. And then once she realized I had a bad sense of humor, then I think she kind of opened up.
That's
Now,
funny.
from Shirley's perspective, what do I look like right now, Shirley? And what have I been doing for the last 15 minutes?
What do you look like?
Yeah, I mean, do you notice my body? Anybody notice my body language or the weird contortions in my hands and this
Yeah,
absolute
you're-
stillness?
You're still, and your hands,
And they hurt. And they hurt.
Do
Trust
they?
me. Yeah.
because they're still, they're not moving.
Yeah, and they're like I told you before. Even if you look at my feet underneath the table, they haven't moved, and like you're stuck like stone. I mean, my mind is free, but the focus is on the other person. Just so people out there might be able to get a good sense of what you might expect in a real seance if somebody's really doing it. It becomes actually very difficult for a real medium to move around. That's my own experience, but you know. Any other little questions that you might have besides the meaning of life? I'll let you know when I find out. Actually, you know what? Tonight's show, we're going to end. I'm going to ask. I'm going to be really bold. I'm going to ask God, what is the meaning of life? And see what he says. That'll be shocking. So any little final ideas? And
I'm fine, and I thank you so much for that message.
you're welcome. And the other
Really
thing,
helpful.
yeah, well, I hope so. And obviously, you're a person like my oldest sister is a psychologist, and I'm used to being kind of like investigated and checked out, and supposedly I'm sane. A little asterisk around that. But there is a part of yourself that must be gone to do this. I've been told by spirits that you have to have your heart crushed like a bug or have a huge crack in it, so these things can come in and out. So it is really kind of a painful thing to be able to do this, and you want to do it with sincerity and compassion, you know, and be very sincere about it. Whether or not you're wrong is irrelevant, you know, because sometimes spirits will actually tell you, I haven't had this happen, but I could imagine that they would tell you a bunch of crap just to make you look ridiculous if they wanted to, you know. But ordinarily, I think when you're calling up somebody that you love, ordinarily it's more in it for the spirit to make a genuine contact with you. So bless your mother, and we release her beautiful spirit now to the universe, and have her come back only when really necessary, I guess. Or you could also say if she wants to come down and let you know that she loves you, which she says, you big dummy, you should know that by now. You know. But it's a really good thing, very positive, which I promised.
Thank
Yes,
you.
you did.
Yeah.
That was great.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Truth Be Told with Tony and Eddie. I'm Eddie Connor.
I'm Tony Sweet.
We're here with Kellee White, and we're also here with Shirley and Kellee. And we're here with Voxx The Psychic, who is doing a seance with us in a very non-traditional setting, I might add, with bright lights. We're not holding hands and playing footsie under the table. She is simply being a catalyst and a conduit to receive the light to her and through her, so that the audience out there can have an experience of what it's like to be at a seance.
So again, everybody that's out there, if you're participating, it would be interesting at some point to hear from you guys what you were picking up at the time I was conducting this. So make sure your feet are uncrossed, your arms are uncrossed, your mind is uncrossed, and that you know that you're in a safe spiritual energy and circle wherewith we're trying to contact any and all positive spirits that might be able to share some information with the people that are here today. And I would imagine that that's probably the best way to do it, because we didn't actually even decide how we were going to do it. But it would be kind of disingenuous for me to say, oh, yeah, I'm picking up this guy in Alhambra whose chihuahua just died, Chi-Chi the chihuahua, and then pretend like, oh, yeah, because I said so, it must be true. But we could do that. But anyway, so let's check out anybody from your side, Tony. At least we have people that are here that have good reputations that can vouch for what it is that we're getting. So I think that's good.
Mm-hmm.
So what about you, Tony?
For me, I guess we could be my grandmother's or my grandfather's. Both, all my grandparents are gone, so I would love to see if there's.
Now let's piss them off and name your favorite.
Oh, favorite? Okay. My grandpa Sweet. He was my favorite.
Okay, and what's his first name?
Floyd.
Okay. You can't get better than Floyd.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
It just can't
That's so
happen.
sweet.
And he's still honored to this day that famous rock band used his name. Although Pink was not, he was not advising the Pink.
Yeah. No.
But let's check out Floyd, Sweet. And he's got a lot of water energy around him, like Scorpio, Cancer energy. What was his birthday?
April something or other. I can't remember.
Yeah, that's very Taurian. But there's a lot of water energy around him, indicating a very emotional, not sappy guy, but somebody who's very authentic, very sweet, literally like the name. Like
Yes.
there may be something to that. And who is George around him, to your knowledge?
George. Not
And I empower
getting a George,
I
but-
empower you and anyone here to discover what I'm talking about at some later point, and then tell me about it, because there's always a reason why a particular name will come out, even if it's not obvious right off the bat. There's a lot of bird energy, eagle energy, which is very traditional type person. Again, there's water around him, but I don't see him coming from around water. Maybe it's just something that he wanted to be around, because I don't see that he's naturally from that. Is that true?
Well, no, he wasn't from that, but I mean, he loved to fish, so maybe that's it.
Yeah. Because, you
Yeah.
know, where's he
And
from?
he lived next to, like, his house then had a pond right in front of it.
Yeah.
So,
Because ordinarily the area that he was from isn't famous for being a place for water.
oh, no.
So that's pretty very specific to him. Gosh, a lot of this really beautiful, land around here that I'm really getting pissed off that we don't have that anymore. I'm kind of getting jealous of these older spirits. There's a lot of solitude around him. He's very much his own person, but that doesn't mean that he was closed off in any way to the people around him. He seemed to be very easily accessible emotionally to most people. He's talking about his wife, and there's B energies around that, initial B. And what was your grandmother's first name?
Blanche.
Okay. So you see, the more we get into it,
Yeah.
the spirits, I think, are just checking me out. I'm telling you guys, your relatives don't really like me. They're like, devil woman, get away from the devil woman. And so they're just kind of warming up, as you can see. Now, Blanche is showing me, like, her parents, which is really interesting, because that's, I guess, your great-grandparents. These seem to be really pioneer kind of people, very important people in the area in which they came from. Is that true?
Yeah, they were well known.
Yeah,
I mean,
'cause
very
it's-
well liked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They seem to be very influential. I'm seeing like those old, what do they call those things, Eddie, where back in the old town?
You were alive back then, Eddie.
Yeah, we both were, but it was a gazebo. Gazebo.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Where the local band would be playing, and I'm seeing just such an idyllic life back then. My God, this needs to be like a Twilight Zone episode or something where we need to go back to. Next stop, Willoughby or something. My God, I want to just go back right now. Hell, Betty, strap me down. I might just fly away. I'm just seeing like the traditional holidays. It's so extremely important to everyone here. Like, if you had ever done anything wrong, oh my God, you would be in so much trouble. I mean, just giving somebody the side glance. This is a really very spiritual, very hardcore religious, old-fashioned family down to the tips of their toes. Like very, I know that sounds like kind of a weird thing, but like polishing their shoes, buttoning everything to the top. Not like weird Amish people or something like that. Excuse me, weird Amish people. But these are just people that are just doing everything by the book. Yeah, they seem to have a really nice time laughing and enjoying each other. I'm looking for problems, which is usually the great stuff to look for, to see the discrepancies which stick out like a sore thumb in every reading. But I can't find anything. I'm seeing perfectly baked turkey, mashed potato. I mean, I'm just seeing all right, I'm just going to call it. All right. Your family were the models for Norman Rockwell paintings.
I don't know about
That's
that,
just,
but
no, seriously, if you look at some old Norman Rockwell paintings, that's pretty much your family. I mean, like, just the utmost integrity, nice, spiritual. And I do think that they hid some psychic abilities. I do believe that. And I'm for sure on your grandfather, for sure. They would not have called it that. They would have called it something else, like second sight or whatever, or the knowing, or some other thing that M. Night Shyamalan's going to steal from us now. The knowing. All right. Secret to the dreaming and the breathing and the mist and the fogging and the defogging. Oh, my God. But these are just some powerful people. Do you know of any, this is kind of a weird family secret, do you know about any infiltration of the family bloodline? Were anybody interbred with any Indians from the area where you guys were from?
Well, I just know by DNA testing.
Yeah, what
I
did they
have no
say?
Native American at all.
Interesting. I wonder
Yeah.
what this Indian thing is. Maybe they were settling that part of the land at some point.
Yeah,
Or
in the late
people
1800s. So
Yeah. So I can't imagine that there would have been that much Indian energy at that time. But it's interesting. You might still want to do some research as to the Indian tribes that were from that area.
Well, there were a lot of tribes. In fact, my brother used to go out and find
Arrowheads and
thousands of arrowheads. It was a big area. Like Wichita is named after a Native American tribe, and Chautauqua County is named after American. There's tons.
stuff. Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, at
So,
least it explains the Indian energy,
Yeah.
And
there's actually Indian burial grounds that my family know of that other people don't know of, that they don't tell anybody else.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I
don't want them
definitely
to
would
bug
keep
it.
that.
That'd be the connection.
Yeah. But it was so intense. It's like, gosh, is there any in the genealogy or whatever? But I guess it's just the genealogy of the land. But really powerful energy there. And that could have been a reason why they could have gotten so much psychic input, even though I don't feel that they talked about it very much. Like, they might have just glanced at each other like, all right, But I do feel that they would have also been able to have the ability to see what we call ghosts or apparitions, and very interesting phenomena around the house at different times. Did you ever remember anything strange that happened at his house?
Not at my grandparents' house. We did take some pictures and saw orbs before.
Okay.
But in the house I grew up in, my brother and I used to see ghosts.
Yeah.
My mom actually, we talked about it the other day. She said I was talking to somebody when I was a kid. I don't remember that, but she said I would talk to him all the time.
Yeah, because there's definitely some psychic energy in your family, which obviously is coming out now in an interesting way to share with other people.
Right.
Your experiences and those of your friends, so that's interesting. But would be interesting right now is if you were to ask him a question and ask it inside your head.
Okay.
And then you could just, ask from that, ask a particular question, not a compound question, like a very direct question. And then we'll see what I can tell you.
Okay. I already have one that just popped in my head, and I asked him.
Okay, now focus and ask it again.
Okay.
Right. Now around it, and right before it too, was the color purple, which is a color of spirituality and psychic phenomena. But what I'm seeing out of nowhere, and this is his symbolic answer to you, since I don't know the actual question, there is a pencil or a pen. And at the top of the pen is like a golden scroll or some kind of golden emblem, some kind of very fancy piece of jewelry at the top. And to me, what it indicates is something to do with either your writing or the information that you have, and something very important that you also will be writing. Are you aware of that?
Not that I'm writing now.
Okay.
But
And how would that relate to your question?
well, when you said it, it kind of popped into my head because when I was a kid, I used to write poetry, and one of my poems were published in a book.
Oh, very interesting.
And so my grandparents were very proud, and so that kind of answered the question after you kind of brought that up. So,
And then what would Walt Whitman have to do with you?
I have no idea.
Okay, well, just popping into my head out of nowhere, that would indicate he was a Gemini, and he was also a poet. And that would indicate to me that, you might really want to start thinking about getting back into that and releasing that creative impetus that you have, because it really needs to be explored. And I know, and he knows that you're extremely busy. And I do feel that he hears your prayers pretty much on a nightly basis. Is that true?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Which is weird because, most people don't pray anymore.
Well, I don't sit there on my knees, but I talk.
No, but he,
I talk.
you can be aware that he hears it.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people actually really do that every night. They just don't. And he says he hears every single thing you're saying, which is really cool. So I would get back to your writing. And like I said, he knows that you don't have a lot of time, but you need to make time for those kinds of things. Even like 15 minutes a night before you go to sleep, because that will add up. And he really wants
to be a very stress reliever for me.
Yeah, well, he's saying that you need it again. And is that true right now?
Yeah, it would be a good way to express a lot.
Yeah. Now, there's different poetry methods you can do just by writing, by hand. Different types of poetry will come through a typewriter or an electronic device, as he calls them, electronic device. That's always cracking me up. And then there's the stuff that now you can actually just get a recorder on your phone and just start talking. And that will be a different type of poetry that comes out.
Yeah, I constantly have songs and stuff in my head, and I just don't put them on paper.
It's called get the recorder device on your electronic device and just start speaking into it. And then later on, once a week, just go through it and write out what's on there.
Okay.
So in other words, there's no excuse anymore for you to not do something important like that. And it's very specifically related to the visual of a question that you answered inside your own head that I did not know. And those are things that will educate hopefully the public that you can still get great information even if you don't really have access to the question. The information is still going to reveal itself, which is really wonderful.
I totally agree.
And Blanche is just kind of looking at me like,
that would be my grandmother.
she's not even saying anything
She
bad
didn't
to me.
have to.
She's like, it's the Blanche look. I think I need.
Yeah.
And my eyes
She
are
didn't
closed,
have
and
to.
I'm trying to give the Blanche look.
Well, thank you. That was wonderful.
Yeah, you're
That was
welcome.
wonderful.
That was really wow. That was really intriguing.
No, he was a great man.
Yeah,
He was a great man.
and it's a beautiful family coming from a wonderful place. I mean, just very idyllic. I mean, I hate to say it, but we're not going to see the likes of that anymore.
No.
Not in this
Once-
lifetime.
Once he was gone, it was
Yeah.
the end of a era. So
Oh, maybe that's another part of the book you should write.
about him,
Yeah,
he would
that's
be
a whole
good
book
one.
right there. I would actually suggest that just based on what we just went through. That's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, he was a great
All
man.
right, Grandpa,
Thanks, Grandpa.
moving towards your light, and thank you so much for the beautiful visions that you were able to share with us. And we didn't even know who we were going to call up, but like I said to the public, it's like, why not call up the people that are related to the people in the studio that can actually back up what I'm saying?
Yeah, Kelly.
Yeah.
Is there
Kelly.
anybody that you're interested in talking to?
Well, there's somebody here for you. Is it okay? Is it all right if I?
Yeah, the dueling
I
spirits.
don't mean to
Mediums.
do
I love
that,
it.
but I just kept getting this push that I have to say something to you. You have, and I'm hearing hello lover, and I'm hearing with a T, and I'm hearing that this man is
You know who
just
that is.
really in. You've spent lots of Halloweens together. Like Halloween was an important time with you. Is that accurate?
It's 1,000% accurate. Yeah.
Okay. Is it Ted or Tim?
It's Tim.
Okay. So this is a guy that he's showing me like pumpkins and Halloween was like your time. This was when you guys had the most fun. And apparently like there was an accident or something happened on Halloween. I don't know if you got in a fight. It's like he just wanted to apologize for anything during that period of time.
Yeah, I don't know. Tim, my best friend, and everybody thought we were lovers. They would say, "There's Tim Eddie," for Tim and Eddie, and he lived for Halloween. He wanted to move out here and be a makeup artist for scary movies because he loved Halloween so much.
Because he loved Halloween so much. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
I
He'll
love
be
that.
with you for Halloween.
Oh, it's so funny. Well, then good. He can watch me eat candy. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Wow. Now, is there somebody you want to talk to, Kellee?
I love to talk to my father.
Ooh.
And what was his first name and birthday?
Lee, May 17th,
And what year?
1928. Yeah.
Let's see. There was a lot of ability for him in the performing arts, whether he did that or not.
Yes, he was a musician.
Yeah. He would have been very good at memorization of words as well. Did he ever show that?
He had, I think what you're describing is he had an oddball way to use words.
Yeah. Because it's coming across really strong with him. Where was the place, the old place that had the stairs right off the kitchen?
The old place, I'm not sure. He had a few homes.
Yeah, because I'm seeing him like around a kitchen, very, this seems to be like around, like the late 30s, early 40s.
Oh, I wouldn't know back then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just sometimes people have pictures that you
Yes,
might be able
absolutely.
to see, you know. What was Hollywood regarding himself?
Oh, he spent a great deal of time in Hollywood. We lived here, and he worked here. He was a musician in a well-known band. So
Yeah.
he was always Hollywood was everything actually for us for a
Wow.
long period of time.
Yeah, because I'm just
Our
seeing,
life,
I'm just
really.
seeing like the whole Hollywood scene, the old, the like the grand Hollywood, like again, you know, the music, the poetry, the words. He would have known a lot of pretty important people
Yes,
at
he
different
did.
times.
That is very true.
What's the word cob, COBB, around him?
The
I
salad.
actually don't know. The Cobb salad. Yeah.
which
I
was
did-
made here.
You're right.
It was made famous
Which
here.
is weird.
Yeah.
Which is weird. You know, very strange.
I don't know. That is a funny one. He really got me into food, and he loved food.
Yeah, I'm just saying the word cob. I'm like,
Cob,
what? Okay.
Maybe he's saying macabre, knowing him.
He probably is. My old famous joke, corn on macabre. That's what you eat for Halloween. Finally, my joke gets a laugh. Finally. Thank you, Lee, for that preface there. Yeah.
Hilarious.
You know, now your mom seems, I don't know why she seems kind of invisible. Why is that?
Well, they had been long divorced.
Okay, because I'm like, it's odd, you know, where a woman's asking about her dad, like usually the mom will pop up and I'm looking around, I'm like not seeing it.
And she's still here with us.
Yeah, because again, I'm just not seeing her, which is interesting. But there's just a lot of regard for yourself. He's very, very proud of you. He says, and even though he's not a very self-deprecating person, he would still be kind of amazed at the intellectual aspect that you've aspired to, that you've achieved, which, you know,
True.
I do believe he had a lot of that. I just don't think he saw it in that same way.
Yeah. Yes.
But there's a lot of pride there. Now, do you really have a brother, or what happened to this brotherly
Yes.
energy?
Oh no, I have two brothers.
Okay, because one's coming across a little bit more in an endangered kind of situation, maybe regarding his health, that he might need to pay attention to. So you might want to check out with your brothers and find out, you know, see if they're
Okay.
going to the doctors. It's more preemptive than anything. But I'm specifically seeing one brother in particular. And who is the energy with the E initial?
Well, my name is Kelly. It's with 3 E's in it.
Oh, that's
So- and
interesting.
I was named after him.
Okay. Because I'm seeing the E's. I'm like, what are all these E's? And now you're telling me, oh, okay, that makes sense.
It's me.
Hello. And again, sometimes spirits will show something that there's no way that the person who's doing the thing can know. Just like when Kelly was reading Eddie, there's like no way to know that. You either get it or you don't. Sometimes it's amazingly brilliant. Sometimes it's like, who cares, But it's still there. But he, interesting. He seems to have had some real idea or passion for something scientific. What is that?
Gosh.
Do you know what that is?
I
He was into the stars, whatever. I'm just
No,
seeing
he
like
loved football and sports and cars. He was real male that way with like
Yeah.
cars and football and all sports and
because I'm seeing like when he's like showing me the sky, and that's making me
Oh.
feel that he had some kind of interest in things that were relatively otherworldly.
towards the end of his life, they moved to Taos, New Mexico, and the scenery there, we would always get pictures from the scenery, which were these beautiful, pictures of stars in the sky. So maybe I think that's probably what
That's
you're
it.
getting.
Yeah, because that's very specific. It's like I'm feeling like maybe he's interested in the scientific aspect, but it's just plain
Right.
old stars.
Yeah, it was literally the stars.
Yeah, because I'm just like seeing a whole bunch
Or
of
he
stars.
might be saying you're a star.
Oh, no.
He has that. He has
No,
that
he's
kind
not
of a
that. He's not gonna be that
persona.
nice to me now. No, he's a nice guy. He would be definitely a gentleman. But I was just seeing the stars out of like nowhere, thinking, "Wow, what is all this?" He seemed like a very down to earth person with a lot
Very.
of real extraordinary gifts.
Very.
And they do come all the way back through his. Interestingly enough, right, his father's mother's side, which is kind of complicated to see that. Do you know who is back from Europe or like the areas of Russia, Croatia?
Yeah, they were Russia. They
Okay.
were Russian. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know that I don't know your last name. It's like
And
Goofus-
White, you wouldn't get that with White anyway. My last name was Katzman, so
All
you,
right,
wouldn't,
so it's-
you wouldn't have gotten that.
Kelly Putin. All right.
Yeah.
I saw you coming. No, but can you see how like he's literally showing me up the whole line and I'm like getting dizzy like I'm winding up in Russia. I'm like, okay,
that's
can't you just give me the big R? The big red R. No, I got to take a trip through Croatia, get lost
Turn
at the
around,
Pyrenees. And, oh my God, But he's a funny guy.
Oh, he's hilarious.
What happened with him at the Brown Derby? Anything in
You
particular?
know, I really don't know. He loved, what is the one? Oh, gosh, it's down the street.
Musso and Franks?
Musso and Franks, that's him.
Okay, because I'm seeing, it's actually down the street from where the Brown Derby used to be.
Exactly. That was Musso and Franks.
Yeah.
Like if he were here right now, we would go out over there. It was our last meal together, actually.
Oh my God.
We would go, we'd have a martini, we'd have this great meal. Oh, yeah. He loved
That's
Musso and
crazy.
Franks.
Well, that's very fitting then that he would set me right there on Hollywood Boulevard.
Exactly. Because it's not far from where we are now.
Yeah, that's right down the street. We maybe should go after the show.
And that literally could be the Brown Derby. I think could be possibly where the Cobb salad was born.
Oh, it was where the Cobb salad was
Oh,
born.
my
Absolutely.
God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Brown Derby.
So-
we tied it all in
Yeah,
together.
I know.
And I'll tell you
with
another
1 minute
thing here that
left.
you don't know, that my dad, back in the day, I was selling salad dressing, and we actually had to make Cobb's salad, and I actually had to go
There you
find
go.
Bob Cobb's
I know,
salad
like-
dressing thing, and then my dad would actually, that's something that he would have brought up because he would have
Ding,
thought
ding,
that
ding,
was
ding, ding.
hysterical.
We got it.
Oh, he's
That-
a hoot.
Honestly, that was really crazy because he dropped a few lines and then he tied it up in a nice little bow.
Thanks,
Even though you
Dad.
said, no way in hell do I know what Cobb has to
Right.
do with. And then we're at Moose and Frank's, Brown Derby, making Cobb salad on the
Last meal
astral
together.
plane.
Last meal together.
We
Yeah.
have about 1 minute left.
Wow. Well, that's incredible, you guys.
You guys, Vox, you're just amazing.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you
And-
very much
Thank
for that. That
you.
was great.
And all of you are as well. And I think we should do this more often.
I think so too.
There you go.
Should.
And then we could get people calling up a day ahead with their questions, and then just doing it right there. Now that we kind of know how to do it.
Love it.
But I'd like to thank all the
Yes.
spirits who graced us with their spiritual
thank you.
presence, even though they hate psychics and they wouldn't pay for this in a million years. But so thanks to all of you. And this really, honestly, is a historical event for radio. Nobody has ever done this before. And there you go. And you got some psychologists and really intelligent people over here who are like, yeah, this is working.
Yeah.
So thank you guys, and keep in touch with me at voxx.org, voxx.org. I got all my stuff on there. And follow me on Facebook, Voxx1. And shameless self-promotion. Tomorrow I'm doing another seance on, what the world is it? Periscope. How did I forget that? I'm so in the astral, I can't even, like, my feet are dangling from heaven over here.
Take another medium to know.
Exactly.
Periscope.
So exactly. Periscope tomorrow night, 9 p.m. to midnight. We're going to be channeling Aleister Crowley, Leonardo da Vinci, and Nikolai Tesla.
Ooh, that ought to be interesting.
So everybody tune in, and thank you guys for the pleasure of your company and the opportunity.
Thank you so much. All right, well, we are going to take just a short break. When we come back, we have Psychic Dave, Voxx The Psychic, and they're going to be doing live calls and doing some readings. So we don't want you to go anywhere. Dr. Shirley, Kellee, Voxx, Eddie, thank you guys, and we're going to be back here shortly. This is Truth Be Told. I'm Tony Sweet.
I'm Eddie Connor.
And please go to truthbetoldwebtv.com. Check out our new upgraded website. And follow us on Twitter at On Air with Tony. And then where else?
Facebook.
Oh, Facebook. Yeah, On Air with Tony Sweet. Eddie is Soul Intuitive on Twitter. And EddieConnor.com.
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah,
Or
thank
no,
you.
no.
I don't
Is it?
know.
Yeah. All right, we're out
Just
of
go in the astral.
here. Yeah, no,
Figure it out.
All right, we'll be right back. And get ready. If you guys are tuning in live, get ready for live readings. Don't go anywhere.